Hey friends, I'm Rachel. Welcome to my channel. I lost 50 pounds over 50. After years of frustration, I was finally able to figure out some strategies that worked when I stuck with them consistently. And today I'm going to share the exact strategies with you that I learned and used to help me lose the weight without turning dieting into deprivation, without changing everything I ate, but just making some simple adaptations to help me save calories each day. Now listen, if you are trying to lose weight, cutting calories is job one, but don't be afraid. Listen to me. I'm going to help you do this without losing your mind, okay? So just stay to the end of the video and you are going to be empowered with I don't know how many strategies that will help you cut out 100 to 200 calories per meal, which adds up to 500 calories a day. Now, if you can cut out consistently 500 calories a day, you will be on a steady track to losing a very reasonable 1 pound a week. That would be over 50 pounds in the course of a year. Now, maybe you don't have that much weight to lose, or maybe you have more weight to lose, but the thing is the time's gonna pass. And whether you have 5 pounds to lose or 50 or way more than that, you can start implementing these strategies and get on a steady course to losing weight. If you're anything like me, I thought I was doing everything right, but I just could not take off the weight. And at times I was even gaining, or I would lose weight and gain it back. Do you feel me? Like, it's so frustrating. But when I finally found strategies that worked and stuck with them consistently, I was able to take the weight off, and now I live a life of food freedom, and I absolutely love it. I went from a size 14 down to a 4, and that's where I've been for the last year. Okay, let's start with the easiest of all weight loss wins, and that is what we put on top of our food. A category I'm calling sauces, syrups, spreads, dips, and dressings. All of those things that we put on top of our food, we don't even realize, but many of them have 100 to 200 calories per tablespoon, which adds up in a huge hurry. So I'm going to show you all these different categories of things and some swaps that you can make to drastically cut calories and easily eliminate 100 to 200 calories per meal just by making some simple changes in the things you put on top of your food. Let's start with the mother lode of all calories, which is butter. Butter has 100 calories per tablespoon. So just to give you a reference, a tablespoon's like this. And it is so easy to just put that on your vegetables, on your toast, on your baked potato, and before you know it, you've added an extra 100 or 200 calories. So one simple thing to do with butter is just cut the portion size. Be aware and cut it down to a teaspoon. That can really be enough to put a skim on your waffle or on your toast, and then you can put, something with some more flavor, like some jam on top of it, which I'll talk about in a minute. So then there's things like sour cream. Full fat sour cream has about 100 calories in 2 tablespoons. This is light sour cream, and it has 40 calories in 2 tablespoons. That's a huge difference. That's a 60 calorie savings just in your 2 tablespoon serving of sour cream. And just to give you a reference, there's a little 1/8 cup measure. That's 2 tablespoons. So let's say you're making a baked potato, or you're at a restaurant and you get a baked potato and they say, do you want it loaded? Or they just bring it to you and it has a huge plop of butter and a huge full fat sour cream. That is going to add hundreds of calories to your baked potato. So what you can do is ask for that on the side, or if you're making it at home, just do a bit to get the taste and cut your sour cream down to light sour cream, or eliminate one of these altogether so you get the creaminess but not all that fat that's not adding any nutrition. It's not adding all that much flavor, but it's adding a ton of calories. So that's one way to go about it. The next suggestion I have for you has to do with your sauces, like barbecue sauce, ketchup, things like hot sauce. Your typical barbecue sauce has about 70 calories a serving. Again, it's a 2 tablespoon serving. And it's easy to put way more than 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce on something, or if you order something that's like barbecue, it's going to have a lot of sugary barbecue sauce on it. But one great substitute I have found is this G. Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce. It only has 10 calories in 2 tablespoons, so that's 60 calories in a 2 tablespoon serving that you saved. And I know you're like, ew, sugar-free. I know, they need to give it a different name, because all that means is this gets its flavor from tomatoes, vinegar, and some spices, and I love it. and you will not know the difference, and then you've saved 60 calories. You're well on your way to your 100 to 200 calories per meal savings. The next item is just like your ketchup. This organic ketchup has 15 calories a tablespoon. That's a huge saving over like a sugary barbecue sauce or another type of spread. Something like hot sauce, 0 calories, and you can get some really nice flavor out of these. Let's move on to things like dressings and mayo. Full fat mayo has 100 calories a tablespoon on average. This Best Foods Light mayo has 35 calories a serving. That is a savings of, I don't like to do math on camera, but I think 65 calories per 1 tablespoon. So that is this much mayo, which you easily put on a sandwich, right? And I love this. You might say, well, the full fat has the full flavor. Yeah, but is it worth another 65 calories on your sandwich? I say no. I'd rather use that on bread or fillings on my sandwich. The next category is things like salad dressings. You would not believe it. Like the calories of salad dressing, a full fat salad dressing has up to like 180 or so calories per 2 tablespoons. And something like this, Olive Garden Light Italian, has 30 calories in 2 tablespoons. It tastes fantastic. It doesn't make your salad taste so heavy. But if you really love the full fat dressings, another option is just to lightly drizzle it. So open up your lid and just mindfully fill it and then lightly drizzle and then coat your salad. You can have a full fat salad dressing, but a smaller amount. That's another way to go about it, especially when you go to a restaurant. If you can ask for those on the side, because sometimes they're giving you easily 2 tablespoons, sometimes a couple ounces. It really adds up calories fast. Here's another dressing I love. This is Skinny Girl Honey Dijon. It's kind of a lightly sweet dressing, and it's only 10 calories a serving. So you can save, oh my gosh, let's say 100 to 150 calories easily on dressings if you can make some of those simple changes that as your tastes adapt, you will never miss it. And there's so many alternatives. These are just a few that I like. Let's talk about things like jam, peanut butter, and jelly. I mean, how many of these did I feed to my kids back in the day? This is almond butter because I can't eat peanut butter, but they both have the same 190 calories in 2 tablespoons. And then your jams, this full sugar one has 50 calories per tablespoon. This sugar-free one has 10 calories per tablespoon. Now, I don't love this sugar-free, but I don't mind it like on a waffle under a little bit of syrup, some real maple syrup. It adds some flavor. You could mix them, or you could even make your own with a low sugar pectin and do it to your taste and your flavor, and your family's going to think you're a domestic goddess. So that's another option. But any of these things that you can do a little more mindfully, like spread it a little thinner if you want the full sugar stuff, and do that for your children. They don't need that big sugar load either. Do 1 tablespoon instead of 2, and you'll still get the flavor, and you'll save that magic number, 100 calories. Or have a different type of sandwich, something else that doesn't have quite the sugar load, or that doesn't have quite the calorie load. Let's talk about syrups, things we drizzle on our food. Real maple syrup has 110 calories in a 2 tablespoon serving. And this is great. This is a natural product. This has a lot going for it. I'd rather do this than a lot of other types of sugar. But the truth is it adds up fast. Now, I love making protein waffles, so I will have my maple syrup, but I put it in this little medicine measuring cup. And then I just fill it to about here, and I just lightly drizzle it. And if you heat it up a little bit, it's a little bit more runny. And so you get all that flavor, but you don't double up on the calories. And, my grandkids will take this and, I don't know, they probably put 200 or more calories just of this sugar-filled liquid. And so I'm always like, no, guys, you just need a little bit. Or I'll pour a little bit in the corner of their plate so they can kind of dip it instead of drenching it. So you just drizzle lightly instead of drenching, and you're going to save 50 calories or more just on that one product. Now, here's a way that you can double up on some of these techniques. If you were making waffles, or in my case, protein waffles, there's butter and there's syrup, right? Or some people put peanut butter and syrup in my family. What if you choose one? Like, which one really matters to you? You can cut out 100 calories either way on a serving. Or you could do half. You can do a pat, like a teaspoon of butter, and then you could cut back a little bit on this, and that way you still save that same 100 calories. So picking one or cutting the quantity is a great way to save some calories. I gotta show you another one. This is chocolate syrup, just like the Hershey stuff that you pour on your ice cream. Obviously, if you're cutting calories, you're not going to eat a lot of that. What I use this for is to pour in my smoothies. Now, the full sugar one right here has 100 calories per 2 tablespoon serving. The sugar-free has 10 calories per 2 tablespoon serving. I don't think it tastes very good by itself, but I pour this in my protein smoothies in the morning, which I'm going to give you that amazing recipe another time. But this gives it some chocolatey flavor without adding any calories to speak of. If you want the full sugar, or if you are feeding children, just mindfully drizzle. You just need a taste. You don't need a dump, right? So that will save 90 calories. Even on ice cream, it matters. You can have more ice cream. Get the good stuff, you know? Or you can make your own and make some recipes with a little less sugar. We have a family recipe for hot fudge that is divine, but oh my goodness, the sugar calories, we only have it around on birthdays for that reason. So just think about that. 90 calories in a drizzle. That's incredible. None of these foods are bad. Just start looking at the calories and then being more mindful. Awareness is the first key to change. So I would just invite you to go look in your fridge, see what types of condiments you have, what types of things you put on your food, and get creative and find some ways that you could adapt the things that you love to eat and save 100 to 200 calories per meal. That's the goal. Okay, I've changed the scene here, and now we're going to talk about carbohydrates. If you are trying to cut calories, you may think you need to cut out all your breads, all your potatoes, all your snacks, all the fun stuff. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. But again, mindfulness is the key. Let's talk about some of these really common carbohydrates that most of us ladies love. I find that I need a couple servings of like starchy carbs every day to feel my best, or I start to feel really depleted. So I have found ways to incorporate carbs into my diet, but to get more nutrition, more fiber, and less calories out of them. Here's an easy rule for you. Most carbs have about 100 calories an ounce. So if you have a small bun, like a small grocery store hamburger bun, that's going to be 100 calories-ish. If you have one of those big, nice brioche buns or something, probably 200 calories. So check the labels. But when I was raising my kids, my daughter Jamie's allergic to soy. So we could only find one kind of bread that we all ate for years. We called it Jamie bread. It was a sprouted wheat bread. But, you know, she's long since grown up and has her own kids. And so on my weight loss journey, I had to find some alternatives. So I could still have some bread, but not have the calorie load. So the one I settled on is this Sara Lee delightful 45 calorie bread. What's amazing about this bread is it's only 45 calories a slice, and it has 6 grams of fiber and 5 grams of protein. That is quite a bit, and that turns something that is just straight up calories into something a lot more nutritious and low calories. You can have 2 slices for the normal, what you'd have with 1 slice, but I just use 1 slice. So I'm cutting down 45 calories to 150 calories on what I would have done with the bread we always used to serve in my house. And the grandkids like this just fine. They will go through a loaf of bread just sitting here eating toast. I have 4 that live nearby, and so if I'm cranking out the toast, they're just like, can I have more? Can I have more? They don't even notice the difference. And then we've got like tortillas that we use for wraps, burritos, enchiladas, fajitas. And those things are fine, but we can add so many calories just with the tortilla. But we can look at the options at the store and make a better choice. This is a carb balanced tortilla, and what's incredible about this is it has 70 calories in a serving, and it has 17 grams of fiber, which that's almost like colon blow status. That is a lot of fiber, and 6 grams of protein. So that is turning something that could just be a waste of 100 calories or more into something nutritious. And you can even cut some off. Like, you don't even have to do the whole tortilla wrap. I'll just do whatever I need to hold my food in place. So that is such a great way to save calories. And these don't sound appetizing, but they taste great. Going back to my grandkids again, you could give them quesadillas on these all day long and they will not know the difference. And you are not only saving them just empty calories with just a white flour tortilla, you are giving them fiber and protein. So it turns kind of a negative, honestly, into a positive. And so whether it's for yourself, your kids, or your grandkids, something like this will do you a big favor. All right, my next one is popcorn. And the reason I bring up popcorn specifically is because this is a snack we love to eat at my house, and it is a great alternative to like tortilla chips. So tortilla chips have about 140 calories typically in this size serving. This is a really good way to measure like a lot of serving sizes actually. So just imagine this full of tortilla chips, and that's going to be about a serving. So check this out. You can have this much popcorn for the same number of calories, and that is not a processed food. That is air popped white popcorn. Me and my husband love white popcorn. I do a bowl for me and my husband, and that is only 100 calorie serving in that entire bowl. You can pick at that one kernel at a time for quite a while, so you can get a lot more satisfaction out of that. You're eating something all natural, and you get so much more volume than you do with something fried like tortilla chips. And I will show you in a separate video how I do my popcorn with some butter spray. And I love it. Is it lighter than movie theater popcorn or like your microwave popcorn? Yes. It's so much better for you, and you can save so many calories doing this. I could go on all day, honestly, but I'm just going to give you one more example. And that is pancakes and waffles, which is something I love to eat and eat all the time and ate throughout my weight loss journey. But I have found a good substitute that again gives me nutrition, it gives me protein. While it does have maybe the same-ish calories as just something like this, just your basic white flour pancake mix with no nutrition and no fiber. So what I like to eat is this Kodiak protein pancake mix. I'm not sponsored, but hey, Kodiak, I'm your girl if you want to sponsor someone. The Kodiak has 220 calories in a half a cup serving, which is about 3 4-inch pancakes. And it has 15 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber. So this is a great swap. So you're getting your pancakes, you're getting what you love, but you are also getting nutrition along with that, which you don't get with the white flour version. Sorry, Crusties. And I also really like the dark chocolate flavor, and these actually only have 180 calories in a serving. These are fantastic, and I make waffles with them all the time. Now, just as a little side note, going back to our first example, if you're making some waffles out of a good pancake mix like this, and you want to do some butter and syrup on it, either pick one or just do a skim of butter and a light drizzle of syrup just to get the taste, and then you're going to save all those calories and you can still enjoy what you like. That is what I am all about, and that is what has led to my long-term success in losing weight and keeping it off, and that is what I want to share with you. I wish my channel had existed when I was struggling through all those years of trying to find the answer to lose weight without freaking losing my mind over just all the changes I felt like I had to make. Now, while we're on the subject of carbs, I just had to take a minute to mention that the carbs that we want to focus on the most and that you can eat much larger quantities of are your green, non-starchy carbs. I love these fresh green beans from Trader Joe's. Like, I've grown green beans. It takes a lot of work in the summer. And just to throw these in a pot with some boiling water for like 5 minutes and you have fresh green beans, amazing, very low in calories and full of vitamins. We want to fill up on like good portions of our green foods every day. And then things like fruits like bananas and apples are so good for you. I remember an aerobics teacher said years ago, if you have an apple and 2 carrots every day, you will never have to go to the doctor. I don't know if that's true, but it always stayed with me. So focus on what you want to add into your life instead of all the things you're going to have to eliminate. And then try to find creative ways to incorporate into the recipes you love a little more health and nutrition. So before we end, I promise to explain calorie math to you if you already don't understand it. You might be tuning me out like I've heard this a million times. But what I've taught you today can really help you with the implementation of calorie math and save you 100 to 200 calories per meal easily, which adds up to 300 to 600 calories per day. You do that every day consistently and you will be well on your way to losing a pound a week. And here's why. A pound equals roughly 3,500 calories saved. So let's say you're burning on average 2,000 calories a day from just your regular movements and any exercise you've got thrown in there. That means if you can eat 1,500 calories a day, you will save 500 calories for the day. And if you do that consistently every day of the week, that adds up to 3,500 calories. So these kinds of swaps can really help you with that math and help you change the equation without changing everything in your life, right? And who wants to do that? Like, I want to be able to eat what I want to eat, but find creative ways to make it work for me and find swaps that I can live with. So while I could go on all day, I hope you've gotten some great ideas and that you have enjoyed this video. There are more to come with so many ideas to help you lose weight and keep it off. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video with the thumbs up button, and hit the bell for notifications. And I'd love it if you'd comment and tell me one of the things you heard today that you're going to try, or one of your favorite calorie saving tips, so we can all learn together. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.